All right, welcome back. Now stay with me on this one. It's going to be good and it's going to change your mind and it's going to change your paradigm. Okay. And that means it's going to change your future. So like and subscribe. Now, the video title, that you never need to work again, that is true. Now I'm going to caveat that and contradict what I've just said. Okay. Now stay with me. I know that sounds confusing. We live in a three-dimensional world where we have to pay for animals. Don't worry about the things that we do. They don't have to go to bed at a certain time. They don't have to set their alarm clocks. They don't have to worry about lunch breaks and what their boss thinks and what their colleagues are doing. They don't have to worry about being tired because they can just go to sleep. That's the same for us. This reality has got us hooked on working because we work in return for money. That is, in exchange for your time, effort, and energy, at the end of the week, the end of the month, you get a paycheck. And with that money or credits, doesn't matter whether it's pounds, dollars, pesos, rupees, euros, it doesn't matter. We get credits in return for our time and energy. Now, most people out there have a job or a career that they don't actually enjoy. And my dog a treat. Monty down. Good boy. They have jobs that they don't enjoy and they spend all their time doing it. So you might be thinking, well, hold on, Rebecca, you said that you don't need to work. Now I'm going to throw a quote at you now. And that is, if you spend your days doing what you love, you never have to work a day again. Now, about 10 years ago, I worked with a guy and he told me that. It blew my mind. It's something that I never thought about before because I'd always done jobs where I was looking at my clock, looking at my watch time, counting down the days, counting down the hours, couldn't wait to go home and couldn't wait to finish. And then I'd have anxiety the night before because I don't want to get up and I don't want to go and do it again. So I changed jobs and was doing what I enjoyed doing. I actually, and this is going to sound unbelievable, I enjoyed going to work. I was the first person there and I was the last person to leave. If it was getting towards the end of the shift, I'd be thinking, man, I want something to happen so I can carry on working. That's how much I was enjoying it. Now, life is fluid. What you do now, and you might enjoy what you're doing now, or you might not, doesn't mean that you'll always enjoy it. Getting a job when you're 21 and it's your dream job doesn't mean it's going to be your dream job for the rest of your life. Because we live in this three-dimensional dense earth where we have to pay for everything, and that is reality. Reality wants you to work. It wants you to work and it wants you working until you're 70. The universe, on the other hand, wants you to be free and it wants you to be happy. But there's a disconnect here, and that's the duality. Most people don't know anything about. You're watching this. The universe has brought this video to you. So there's a good chance that you have an understanding of that. But you try and talk about this with other people, they'll get angry and they'll get triggered. Now we need food to live and we need water. What we need to do is reevaluate and think about what our baseline is. Okay. And when I talk about baseline, I'm talking the absolute minimum you need to live on each month. Work this out because you might not have worked it out before. Write it down, write your outgoings and your incomings financially. Do some maths and figure out how much it is that goes out and how much comes in, and then have a think about where you can cut and save some of that stuff. So I'll go back to what I said a second ago, and that is, if you spend your days doing what you enjoy doing and it's not working, it doesn't feel like a job, and we're all here now, and most of us have an occupation because we have to be occupied while we're here. Something is keeping us all occupied. Doesn't want us just relaxing with our families and with our friends, chilling out in the back garden, doesn't want us lying on a beach and not having to stress and not having to worry. Something wants us worrying and it wants us stressed. That might sound like a bit of a strange concept, but reality, and it's in contention with the universe. A big earth shift happened in 2020. That was the last shift, okay? Major earth shift. And again, some people use that as an opportunity to change their lives for the better. Because for a long time, most people, including you, we're all sitting around for 6 months, not doing anything, waiting for the world to reopen and really waiting to go back to normal, waiting for your old life to come back. But let me ask you this, how many of you actually wanted your old life to come back? What we needed to do was use that as an opportunity to change our lives for the better, have a better version of yourself, and flip yourself into a position where you're doing something that you enjoy. In practice, it's not always that easy. I understand that, but it's only not easy because things sometimes take time. It could happen overnight. It could take a week. It might take a year, but it will happen if you know that it will happen. And that's important. You have to know. Your inner self knows, your soul and your spirit, and your mind knows, but we just have to reaffirm and keep telling ourselves that it will happen. And you tell yourself with conviction and authority, and you tell yourself absolutely. And it's not conditional, you know, and you have to tell yourself that it will be. Now we have to change our mindsets to do that, and we might have to think about different goals. In fact, the last 5 years has introduced to us a new line of work, okay? And a lot of people work remote now. People have used remote working as an example of how they've made their lives better. They got on board with the shift rather than getting stuck in the past. Now, there's something else where a lot of countries are offering things called digital nomad visas. And that's still being rolled out by a lot of countries, desirable places, tropical, warm places that you might want to live for 6 months. It doesn't have to be forever. It could be for a year. And they're fairly simple to get. A digital nomad, okay? And a digital nomad, there are various different meanings behind that and what you can do if you are a digital nomad. A big shift is coming to the earth again. The earth's changing all the time. It's flipping one way, and then it's flipping the other. But most people walking around on the street, stuck on their phone, watching the news, they don't realize that, okay, because they're distracted. If you're watching this, then you know that the earth changes and that we can jump and shift timelines to better suit us. Now, we want to use reality to serve us. We don't want to be serving reality, okay? A bit like an investment. If you invest in the stock market, for example, and I don't recommend that, but we use our financial investment to serve us, right? And it's the same with reality. We want that to serve us. We don't want to serve it. We want to get back in line with what the universe is offering us, what the universe wants us to have. So now is the time to realign your thoughts, your mind, your inner self, your soul and your spirit and your psyche to really think about what it is that you want and how it is that you're going to get there. All right. And it could be making a small change or a big change. Now, I know some people watching will have families. You might have a lot of outgoings, but with some thought and some patience and some time, we can get them all under control. We can always get our finances back under control, right? Whatever position we're in now doesn't mean it's the position you're going to be in the future. I had to get my finances under control. Now, although it seems like I'm living in a really nice place, it's not my house. I'm staying with an auntie and an uncle who bought the house. It's an old house and they started restoring it. After about 2.5 years, they had enough. Now they live in Southeast Asia. They needed someone to house sit. I manifested that. I was thinking about a change, and a week later, I get a phone call saying, do you fancy coming to house sit? So this is why I'm house sitting here, looking after the place. I'm living my life here as well. So you need to be ready and in gear the next shift. I'm not going to say what date or time it's going to be on, right? Because it doesn't work like that. It evolves gradually. Like the tide doesn't just come in. It's time to come in and it goes out. When the tide's in, that's when we shift. That's when we jump. That's when we change. So we want to use that shift so that you're not stuck doing something that you don't enjoy and then you don't get fulfillment out of. And it's not about money. Although I've said we need money to survive, doing what you really enjoy doing, so it doesn't seem like you're working and you're just spending the days doing what you enjoy, isn't about money, because the jobs which actually throw us the most amount of money aren't that enjoyable, okay? I used to rub shoulders with people who were corporate lawyers. I didn't work in that field, but I'd be out in bars with the same people. I would see these people coming out of their offices at 11 o'clock at night, and these people were drained. They'd go home, probably wouldn't even eat anything, go straight to bed, and be back in the office at 7:30 the following morning. This could go on for months, and they just looked like they were dead behind the eyes. Okay. Now, yeah, they lived in nice apartments in expensive areas of the city, but trust me, these people weren't happy because money doesn't always make us happy. That money doesn't make us happy. Okay. It can improve our lifestyle, but it's not the answer. It's the root. So if you're spending your days doing what it is that you enjoy doing, and that's not working, all right? Now there's going to be people shouting at the screen now saying, well, I don't agree with that. But okay, rather than just disagreeing, think about why you disagree with what I've said. It's possible that you're caught up in your own matrix and you've been conditioned to think a certain way. Most people we know, family, friends, they're all racing around and it's called the rat race, right? They're in the rat race and they borrow extra money because they want the latest stuff, the latest smartphone, the latest car. They want to be visiting these places, eating at certain restaurants, and it all costs money. Then they over leverage and then they find themselves working just to pay off what it was that they did yesterday. When actually, if we take a really long and hard look at ourselves, do we even want the stuff that we're saving up to buy anyway? You can think about that. It is possible to change, possible to change your mindset. Change is coming, but I am going to just reconfirm that we do need money to live. There's a lot of people, channels keep popping up on my algorithm, funny enough, and the title is "You Don't Need to Work," and we weren't born to work or whatever. Well, that is true. We weren't born to work. We're human beings. We're not human doings, but somehow we've been hoodwinked and conditioned into this way of life, and it's reality. But we do need money. All right. There's no way around that. Wealth tends to pass to wealth, and most of us are on the outside of that tent, and wealth is kept inside the tent. You'll be surprised how much money you actually need to live on. All right. Because you watch the TV and people driving around in flash cars and living in mansions, and everybody wants to live on Wisteria Drive. Okay. Expensive watches and accessories, jewelry, watches, necklaces. We don't really need them. Okay. Maybe they give you self-confidence. I don't know, but we don't need them. We don't need as much money to live on as you think. And that's also going to blow a lot of people's minds. We're conditioned to want things we don't want, and we're conditioned to think that we need to be rich and we need loads of money. Remember, if you spend your days doing what you enjoy, it's not working, right? Meaning it's not a job and it's not an occupation, but it is working for you because you've got yourself into that position. We have to use the upcoming shifts, and it's shifting all the time, but there's a big one on the horizon to get into our chosen path and our chosen timeline. Your divine self, your inner self, it knows future, but we can also change the future, and it knows what you want. We just need to get back in tune with our divine self and use it as divine guidance so that we can get where it is that we want to be. Right? So like and subscribe. I really hope you've enjoyed the chat. Comment on what you think. If you've got any thoughts, theories, this is just a philosophy, a way of thinking, and I'm hoping that I can make you think and maybe take a look in the reflection and ultimately become a better and higher version of yourself. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.